Hello, everybody. I wanted to speak really quickly about Crazy Eights. And I'm not talking about the super awesome card game that we all grew up with. I'm talking about the Crazy Eight that has to do with emotional roller coasters, if you will. And what a Crazy Eight is I'm going to actually, I drew it out for you. Oh, it's backwards, son of a bitch. I hate when that happens. So a crazy eight is something that everyone at some point in time gets into or can relate to or has seen someone get into it. And it's basically when you swing from one super strong emotion down to another one, and then you go back into the same pattern, and you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so basically, what this says is if you can read mirror speak, is if you start off feeling depressed or sad or lethargic or really insignificant, right? This is kind of where that is. And then after a while, because the body needs variety, it needs change in order to exist and to survive. It swings down into the exact opposite, right? So if you're feeling kind of insignificant up in here, feeling sad and depressed and lethargic, you swing down into this big loop where you start to feel angry and righteous and all these other things that make you feel in some way, shape, or form significant, but in a really disempowering kind of way. And because you need variety and you need change in your life in order to survive, eventually you're going to get tired of feeling angry and righteous and all these other things. You're going to go back into this big depression and sadness and lethargic kind of, ploppy feeling, and then you're just going to keep going around and around and around and around. So I want to call attention to the fact that so many people nowadays don't realize how in control they are of their feelings and of their emotions. How many times have you heard the phrase, well, I can't help the way I feel. How I feel is the way I feel, and I can't help that. I hear it all the time, especially from my loved ones, my friends, my family, and myself. How many times have you said it? I've said it before, for sure. I'm not the only one. And so what I want to call attention to is the fact that that isn't necessarily true. Okay, it is if you believe it, because that's how you're choosing to live your life. However, there are things that you can do to change your perspective and to change your view, which will in turn change the way that you feel, which will also in turn change the way how you interact with the world. It'll change the way that you interact with in your relationships with other people, both business, friendship, romantically, whatever the case is. So one of the things that you want to start doing is get into a habit of recognizing when you start to get into that crazy eight, and just before you gain momentum right up here, right before you start down this roller coaster, you want to do something here that bumps you out of it, up, as opposed to down. And when I say the difference between up and down, when people try to get out of a crazy eight, most of the time, a lot of people will go down, and that they'll start to move into distractions to get them away from that crazy eight. What I mean by distractions is, like alcohol, drugs, gambling, work is another one. Some people are just, I'm just going to go work because it takes my mind off everything. Anything to get me out of this reality, right? But the reality is, this is your reality, right? That's the reality. And even if you distract yourself from it, it's still there. It's still right in your face, right? This is the crazy eight that you're in. So what we want to do is we want to get into a habit of recognizing that you're up at this peak, right? And just before you start to go down the roller coaster, you want to do something that goes up, right? So what gets you up? For me personally, it's listening to music. Music is huge in my life. It can cause such a dramatic upswing to my mood, to my mentality. So if music's something that works for you, then go put your headphones on or turn your radio up and put on a song that you know is going to change your actual physiology, right? Because that's what you want to do. You want to straighten your back. You want to stand up tall. You want to stick your chest out. You want to own yourself, and you want to own the world, right? Change your physiology, and I guarantee that your feelings are going to change. For me personally, it's one of my absolute all-time go-to songs is "Don't You Worry, Child" by Swedish House Mafia. And I like watching the video more than just listening to it, the live version, because you can see a bunch of people jumping up and down, and they're happy, and everybody's stoked to be there and listening to the music, and there's no animosity, there's no nothing. Everybody's just together to listen to music. Okay, sorry about the breaking video. I actually got a phone call while I was filming this. So to get back, music is something that works for me, and I invite you this week to find something that works for you. So first of all, we want to make sure that we practice getting into the habit of recognizing when we're going up, the beginning of the roller coaster, and just before we're going down, we want to jump up at that peak, because half of the battle in the beginning, at least, is recognizing and being mindful of the fact, oh yeah, I can feel myself starting to get sad, and I know that when I get sad, I start to get really depressed, and then I end up watching, 8 hours of Game of Thrones while eating ice cream, and being bummed out that my favorite character died. So what we want to do is we want to take control of our feelings and our emotions in an empowered way. And if the main feeling that is coming up for you is significance or insignificance, we want to make sure that you do something that makes you feel significant, or that meets the need for significance in an empowered kind of way. And there's all kinds of different ways that you can do that. So my invitation to you for this week is to get really aware and mindful of where you're at during your day, and where you are in your week, in your life, in the minute that you're going through right now, and change your physiology. Get up, go for a walk. If you're feeling upset, if you're at work, get up, do a lap around the floor that you work on, or go outside and walk around the building. Take some deep breaths. Literally change your physiology, and that will help you change how you feel and how you view things. So have a great week and a great day, and no more crazy eights.